Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, ONA and Providence issuing a joint statement that they're returning to negotiations after pressure from Governor Tina Kotek.
And Senator Jeff Merkley sharing what concerns Oregonians raised when faced with Trump's order to freeze funding on federal assistance.
Plus, as Human Trafficking Awareness Month comes to a close, we're taking a look at who is most at risk and what resources are available on NewsWatch 12 at 6.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
Environmental groups are rallying tonight for stronger protections for old-growth forests. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Codadamo.
And I'm Haley Gravitt. The Forest Service is proposing amendments to the Northwest Forest Plan impacting the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest. NewsWatch 12's Leave Column is joining us live from the Medford Interagency Office. Leave, what can you tell us about the scene right now?
Tim, Haley, local environmental groups rallying to show their support for old-growth forests in southwestern Oregon. About 10 minutes ago, these protesters packed up, but they were here, about 20 of them, lined up along Biddle Road. Now, these groups hoping for some changes to the 1994 old-growth forest plan. Some proposed amendments to the plan could weaken policies about land use on federal lands in the Pacific Northwest, and it could make it easier to log mature and old-growth forests, which are the forests that these groups are trying to protect. Now, the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest holding a public meeting right now to discuss some of these proposed amendments. This meeting just got started at 6 p.m. It's set to go tonight till 8 p.m. So we'll get the latest information to you on air and online as it happens at kdrv.com. Reporting live in Medford, I'm Leave Column.
Leave, thank you. In less than 2 days after issuing an order to freeze federal funding assistance that pays for health and child care, the Trump administration now taking back that memo.
Yesterday, a judge temporarily blocked the freeze, and more than 22 states sued the Trump administration, including Oregon and California. Today, we asked Oregon U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley what he heard from concerned Oregonians about the potential freeze.
Been hearing from healthcare clinics that are concerned they can't make payroll. I've been hearing from Head Start providers concerned they may have to lay off people. Oregon food banks concerned that they won't be able to keep funding their breakfast and lunch programs for 1,200 schools. A woman at a cancer center very concerned about the research for kids. It's everything.
Earlier today, the White House said they still plan to move forward with the freeze for programs President Trump signed out of law.
Continuing coverage now of the historic nurses' strike at Providence hospitals throughout Oregon.
Yeah, today marks day 20 of the Oregon Nurses Association strike, with Governor Tina Kotek urging both sides to reach an agreement soon. ONA and Providence are back at the bargaining table today. In a joint statement, ONA and Providence say that they're engaging in every effort to resolve the strike as quickly as possible. ONA nurses remain on the picket lines for now in Medford. However, ONA tells us that some nurses did cross the line for financial reasons.
Let's turn now to Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman. Matt, a little bit more of the same today, expecting a cold night.
Yes, another cold night, but then changes coming pretty quick here as we wrap up the work week. You can see those clear skies across southern Oregon and northern California. Temperatures are dropping off. It was another mild afternoon, though, and it'll still be pretty mild tomorrow, but we got some big changes on the way, especially as we head into Friday. Currently 44 degrees in Medford. We're down to 32 now in Klamath Falls and Montague, 28 in Lakeview, and 43 along the coast in Gold Beach. Air quality beginning to drop off in more spots. Still good in Medford and Wairika, Klamath Falls as well, but moderate in Grants Pass and Cave Junction with this stagnant air mass. Not a lot of wind. Expect those pollutants to accumulate tonight and some drops in air quality into tomorrow morning. But the air stagnation advisory goes through noon Thursday, and winds will pick up as we go throughout the day tomorrow. That's going to improve air quality. But it's also going to be the beginning of this next storm system to return wet weather to southern Oregon and northern California. Tonight, very cold. Clear skies inland down to 24 in Medford, 12 degrees the overnight low in Klamath Falls. Tomorrow, clouds will increase, winds will pick up out of the south. We will stay dry, but as we head along the coast for you folks in Brookings, rain will start to push in tomorrow evening. This is the storm system that will bring rain, higher elevation, snow, and gusty winds to the region tomorrow night on into Friday, and we could see some pretty significant precipitation as an atmospheric river, a bunch of tropical moisture gets focused into the west coast, and exactly where this lines up, that's going to determine precipitation amounts as we go through the weekend. There's the potential for some pretty significant rain and higher elevation snow. We'll talk more about how the weekend's going to play out and when the rain and snow is set to arrive coming up.
Human trafficking comes in many different forms and faces.
That's right, but some are more at risk of becoming victims than others. As NewsWatch 12's Rocky Walker wraps up his in-depth coverage on human trafficking, he wants to take a look into the groups that are more affected by the crime. Rocky, who's most at risk?
Tim and Haley, there are many factors that can contribute to someone's susceptibility to being trafficked. Certain groups like Native Americans and the LGBTQ community are trafficked in much higher numbers than others. But I wanted to look into some environmental factors. Take a look. Many who are targeted for trafficking are in disparate situations, targeting the homeless and those with mental illness as well as previously living through abuse.
The trafficker can come in, use that experience of abuse to manipulate them.
This was what made Stacia Hackman a prime target for her trafficker. Having dealt with abuse as a child, she said she was primed to be a victim before she even knew what trafficking was.
I had skewed views on men, I had skewed views on sex, I had an understanding of the world that just was not healthy. And that was something that made me a perfect target for my first trafficker.
With labor being the prominent form of trafficking in the region, many of those who are being trafficked locally are susceptible in a different way.
A lot of times you're talking about foreign nationals from all kinds of different countries.
In a new country, often convinced what they're doing is legal, many times unsure of even what state they're in. This is what keeps the victims and their traffickers' control.
I think for the people that are trafficking these individuals, it's to their advantage to put them somewhere that's totally foreign to them, and it's hard for them to get out of that world. It makes them need the people that brought them here.
Many of them being undocumented, fear the police and resources that would otherwise give them their freedom.
A lot of these people don't even want to speak to us. A lot of these cases, when we get on scene, a lot of the workers flee on foot upon our arrival.
Some believe they're paying a debt to a coyote, and some believe this is what it takes to be in America, leaving them unknowingly willing to be slaves in a free country.
How much they suffer to enter the United States, and they know anything they can gain to pay the debt they have.
You know, looking into those who are really affected and susceptible, it really shows that intersectionality has effects in every part of your life, even in this deep criminal world.
Absolutely, and you've been researching this for so long for us, getting that information. As you were doing that research, digging into it, is there a statistic or anything that shocked you about human trafficking?
I think the most shocking aspect to this is there's a lot of misconceptions. You know, a lot of people think it's like taken, you're kidnapped, you're never seen again. That's actually a tiny amount of the people that are in human trafficking. It's a lot more nuanced than people would think.
Definitely, and I want to say thank you. I know we've both learned a lot, and if you guys would like to learn more with Rocky, you can head to our website, kdrv.com, or our NewsWatch 12 YouTube channel to learn more about how you can identify and help prevent human trafficking in our area.
Now we're moving to a money alert tonight. The Homeowner Assistance and Reconstruction Program, also called HARP, announced the expansion of its income requirements. Those who previously applied and did not qualify may now qualify if their homes were damaged or destroyed in the 2020 fires. You can find more details on our website, kdrv.com. The Eagle Point Police Department is taking officer training to the next level with implementing a new virtual reality system, allowing officers to face a range of challenging scenarios.
Gives them the opportunity to improve their response times, de-escalation skills, and much more. NewsWatch 12 Samantha Gadara got a first-hand look at this new system in action.
Eagle Point Police Department is rolling out a new way of training, and I even got to experience it. The department is using VR to help officers practice a variety of situations they might encounter on the job, from de-escalation tactics to more intense physical scenarios.
Probably within the last 2 weeks, we've really started pushing it out with the officers and having them start trying it.
As part of my experience today, I stepped into the role and tried out some VR training.
Boom, there you go, nice hit.
There are all kinds of scenarios, from body dummies to a more fun and chaotic zombie simulation. Testing my accuracy, timing, and focus with targets coming at me from all angles. I had to stay sharp to deploy the taser properly, and I gotta say, the zombies came out of nowhere. I had to think quickly and decisively. In real scenarios, lives could be on the line, and VR training like this helps better prepare officers.
What's really nice is there's community interactions that they have, and so you can go through, and it's to help with like de-escalation and understanding communication piece.
The VR system also allows officers to practice critical communication and crisis management. There's a scenario where officers can experience what it's like to communicate with someone suffering from schizophrenia.
If you're in the role of the officer, it gives you prompts on what you do, how do you ask questions, what direction do you want to go with the conversation, and each answer branches out to a different reaction from the individual in crisis. So you can start working with figuring out, okay, how do I get through to this person?
And while these scenarios may seem intense, Chief Hamilton says the goal is to always create positive outcomes in real-life situations.
I mean, when you look at what the benefits are, it's really, like I said, this is going to be a game changer down the road with law enforcement.
Reporting from Eagle Point, I'm Samantha Cadera.
Onto the school watch. The latest national report card is out for American students, and it's not good news for Oregon. The National Assessment of Education Progress shows 4th and 8th grade students are doing worse in math and reading than in recent years. National average reading scores are down 5 points. Oregon ranked 4th to last in both 4th grade reading and math. Prior to the pandemic, Oregon was near the national average. There's a bit of a silver lining. Oregon students performed at or above the nation's average when it came to science scores.